Yes, I am a Detroit Lions fan, but I absolutely love the NFL. I love the game of football. And this is one of my favorite times of year. Free agency, a lot of speculation, a lot of trying to figure out what is going on in the NFL. And the NFL never stops. There's always a story. There's always something to talk about. Well, everyone knows that Russell Wilson is on his way out of Denver. The Denver Broncos Syndicate host Gage believes that there is irreconcilable differences between the Denver Broncos and Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson was on I Am Athlete with Brandon Marshall, who is sitting all by himself, ironically. I remember when the show started with the four of them. That's just how ego gets. But speaking of ego, Russell Wilson wants to continue to play football for the next 7 years. And he wants to do it in Denver, but it looks like that's not going to happen. All but certain that they're going to be done. That marriage is over. So my question is, and this is interesting because as free agency approaches, where could Russell Wilson wind up? Now, just by process of elimination, I think there are a handful of teams that he can play for. We're going to go through them very quickly and eliminate some of the ones that he won't play for. All right. So we're going to include the draft and those who have what I would call already have, quarterbacks. So the Arizona Cardinals are committed to Kyler Murray, or they seem to be so. The Baltimore Ravens just signed Lamar Jackson to a big deal. Buffalo Bills, he's not going there. The Atlanta Falcons, this one's curious because they fired their coach and they got a new coach. And Atlanta is curious because I think Russell Wilson with those receivers, Bijan Robinson, they have all but given up on Desmond Ridder, and they are looking for a quarterback. Now, what better way to get a Russell Wilson? I think Russell would make them much more competitive than they are now. So I could see Atlanta being a good fit for Russell Wilson. The Carolina Panthers, no. Cincinnati Bengals, Cleveland Browns, Chicago Bears. This one intrigues me because does Chicago want to stick with Justin Fields or just throw Caleb Williams into the fray? That is a question. I don't think he goes there, but I wouldn't rule that out. Dallas Cowboys, no. Denver Broncos, absolutely not. That's the team he's leaving. Houston Texans, Detroit Lions, no. Green Bay Packers, Indianapolis Colts, no. Los Angeles Rams, Jacksonville Jaguars, another 2 no's. The Kansas City Chiefs, no. Now, this one is intriguing too. The Minnesota Vikings, there's been rumors that the Minnesota Vikings are considering trading with the Patriots to come up to 3. If they do that, they're coming to get a quarterback. Excuse me. And Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson wants him to come back, but he wants to know what they're doing at quarterback before he commits to Minnesota. So there's something there as far as them drafting a quarterback. So could he go there? I don't think he could, but I would put that probably in the same realm of the Chicago Bears, whether or not he goes there. New Orleans Saints, I don't see that happening. They got Derek Carr. The Vegas Raiders, this one is interesting to me because you kind of got a squad over there. So you've got Devontae Adams, which we just heard today. GM said he's not going anywhere. Figure out what they're going to do with their running back situation. But they got a squad. They got some receivers. They got a defense. And they got Aiden O'Connell. I know that. They're getting rid of Jimmy G. But while you're waiting, if you don't feel comfortable, like, you know what, Aiden is our guy, Russell Wilson might not be a bad kind of fill-in. Now, Russell Wilson could be a complete bridge quarterback, but again, he said he wanted to play for 7 more years. He wants to play till he's 42, 43 years old. So I don't know if that happens. He might. That's right around Tom Bradyville, and he could. I mean, Russell took a lot of sacks, though, so I don't know if he can do that. The New York Giants, I don't really think that's going to happen. Too much money committed to Daniel Jones. Los Angeles Chargers, absolutely not. Philadelphia Eagles, Miami Dolphins, no. San Francisco, Seattle, no, of course. New York Jets, no. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Pittsburgh Steelers, Washington Commanders, Tennessee Titans. Okay, there was one that I skipped on purpose. The New England Patriots, I forgot that Bill Belichick is gone. This might be interesting here, but they have the 3rd overall pick. But again, you're talking about trading with Minnesota, so I don't know where Minnesota picks at. I think it might be in the mid-teens, maybe 12 or 13. So now you have to consider, okay, if you're going to bring in a rookie And all of these teams who could have rookie quarterbacks, do they want to throw the rookie into the fray? That, for me, is the question. Sorry about that. My throat is feeling a little sore. So, for me, if we go back to this list, I think that you have the Washington Commanders. They're picking pick 2. Anybody in the top 3, they're probably not going to take one. Tennessee's good. Buccaneers are deciding what to do with Baker Mayfield. They got to take care of Mike Evans first. They just released Shaquille Barrett today. So I would say off the rip that my 3 strongest contenders would be the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Atlanta Falcons, and the Las Vegas Raiders, with the off chance of a Washington Commanders, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the New England Patriots, and like the Minnesota Vikings, Chicago Bears. I think that there is at least 5 teams that Russell Wilson could go to, but I think it's going to be down to 3. And I was talking to a Pittsburgh guy yesterday. Shout out to Steelers Nation Australia. We talk offline. And I was talking to him, and I'm not trying to get the Pittsburgh Yinzer Nation in an uproar, but I'm saying to myself, okay, when Kenny Pickett was drafted, that was a weak quarterback class. Everybody knew it. And Kenny Pickett was the first quarterback taken, and it was number 20. You never see that. This year, there are 3 quarterbacks coming off the board, 1, 2, and 3, with Marvin Harrison Jr. being the 4th person coming off the board, right? So the next quarterback was not taken into the 3rd round. And ironically, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's Desmond Ridder. So then you got Malik Willis. None of those guys are probably going to make any name for themselves outside of Kenny Pickett, which is why he was taken in the 1st round. But if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, if I'm Russell Wilson, where do I want to go? Where do I want to go? I talked to Sierra. She tells me to level up. And I'm like, okay, where you want to go? He's a very religious guy. He prays about it. Where would he like to go? If you take the 3 that I mentioned, you have Antonio Pierce is a good fit as far as like Russell is kind of, his demeanor might not mesh with Pierce. So, but at the same time, there's a squad over there. Devontae Adams, is he happy with Aiden O'Connell? Then you have what was the other team? The Atlanta Falcons. They got a new coach. But you got a potential squad too. They need a quarterback. You've got some guys on defense, but you have the tight end, Kyle Pitts. You've got the Drake London. You've got Bijan Robinson. So you have potential over there. They just need a captain to lead them. But then you have the Pittsburgh Steelers. You have almost 20 years of Mike Tomlin, the history over there. They've got a defense. And they've got a squad. Now, I just don't know how he would get along with George Pickens. Because George Pickens, no. Russell Wilson, George Pickens, that's not a thing. But Russell Wilson has dealt with diva receivers before. He played with DK Metcalf. He's had to deal with those guys, right? Russell Wilson is not combative, but could he handle somebody? Could he help a guy like George Pickens? So this is very curious. So I'm going to make a prediction here. I think if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you have to entertain if this guy is cut, does he give us a better chance to win than Kenny Pickett? And if we got any Pittsburgh Steelers fans watching, here's what I was saying. This is what I said to Steelers Nation Australia. What if Kenny Pickett is going into year 3? So what if the Pittsburgh Steelers take a flyer on Russell Wilson, who, in my opinion, will make the team better? You got Kenny Pickett in year 3. He can push Russell. He can be mentored, which is something Kenny didn't have. Kenny didn't really have a mentor. I mean, Mitchell Trubisky, he started, but he was immediately shelved, and now he's no longer going to be with the team. So you've got Russell Wilson and Kenny Pickett. Let's say they compete for the starting job. You bring Russell in and say, listen, Russ, I'm not gonna give you the job, right? But you gotta push Kenny. Y'all gotta compete. Okay, cool. Russell wins that job. So then you have Kenny Pickett going into year 3 as the backup. Now you're entering year 4. Do you decide to pick up his 5th-year option? Sign Russell to a 1-year deal, maybe 2. And then you have a decision to make about Kenny Pickett. Do you pick up his 5th-year option or do you move on? Now for me, so that way you can know what you're going to get out of Russ. And if Russell wants to play till he's 43, and he's a dog out there. He pulls a Jared Goff, because I think he's the next Jared Goff. I think, meaning he's the new Jared Goff. Jared Goff was thrown away, and this guy got a bunch of money, though, so it's a totally different thing, but he was thrown away, and he was left for dead. And I think Russell still got a lot left. So my thing is, bring in Russell Wilson for 1 or 2 years, while you definitely have Kenny Pickett for 2 years. You decide what you're going to do with year 5 next year. And either year 5, Kenny is ready and he's a revamped quarterback and you move on from Russell Wilson, and then you extend Kenny Pickett. I mean, to me, this is a win-win situation for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It makes your team better, because I'm sorry, I think a 35-year-old Russell Wilson is better than a 22-year-old Kenny Pickett. That's just me. And again, you look at that quarterback class, it was kind of trash. Everybody across the board after Kenny, I don't think I've ever seen that, where the entire second round, there was no quarterback taken. And you look at Desmond Ridder, you look at Malik Willis, look at those guys. Kenny is literally faring the best out of all of them. I don't think he's Josh Rosen level, where he's going to disappear, but that's just my take coming from a Lions fan. Again, love the game of football. And I love talking about the NFL, and that's what I would love to do with this channel. But the passion is Detroit Lions first, and then this would be second. And sometimes I'm all tapped out talking about them. I don't have the same passion. But this is something that I'm very interested in. Where will Saquon Barkley land? What's going to happen with other guys in the NFL? Chris Jones, L'Jarius Sneed, stuff like that. So I know this is primarily a Detroit Lions channel, but we're going to talk about some of everything, man. So let me know in the comment section below, where do you think that Russell Wilson is going to land? Because I think he's going to start. If you tell me that 32 other quarterbacks are better than Russell Wilson, I would have to disagree with you. So I think Russ is going to be playing somewhere in 2023-4. I think he's going to be a starter, but I would love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think, and I will catch you in the next video. Shout out to all my members as well. I appreciate you. Updated badges are coming very soon. Take care, guys. I'll see you next one.